Resident Evil video games were the first to do this. Any horror game that implements puzzles and resource scarcity, first heard of it here. You have to use ammo sparingly and be careful with every step you take, or something different may happen to you. There's a lot of interest in Resident Evil Village, but for newbies to the series, you'll want to start over. Not to better understand the story, but to experience the horror people went through in their childhood, and what made the franchise so memorable. The games have multiple main characters, and all of them try to put an end to a government-created biological weapon that spawns zombies and worse. You have to plan your every move and save the file and really use your brain for the puzzles in front of you. The main purpose of Silent Hill is to pray for your weakness and your worst fear, and make it your reality. All of these games take place in a small town called Silent Hill, which is cursed to plunge everyone into deep fears. They see those horrors right in front of them. Each individual sees something different in the town. Except for Homecoming, every Silent Hill play attracted great interest among the audience. These video games, whether third-person or first-person demos, captured the essence of horror. Fan favorites are Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3 in terms of story and gameplay. Even in 2021, people are finding horrible sound effects and details they never noticed when they first played games years ago. Puppet Combo is a modern indie developer with the goal of recreating the iconic feel of 80s slasher horror and third-person 90s horror games. The Puppet Combo isn't afraid to be bold while playing creative writing and intense gameplay to give you a wild ride. The scenes of 80s teens with big hair and fear in their eyes in the drive-in movie theater are exactly what you'll encounter when playing Puppet Combo games with your friends. Most gamers on YouTube have turned to Puppet Combo games because these games offer an exhilarating taste of raw horror without the beautiful graphics to get in their way. These games regularly feature serial killers, and your worst nightmare will come true. Many people love this game ironically or just play it for the sake of playing. This is largely due to the fact that the dialogue often comes off as some big cheese that can seem like bad writing in general. Linked to strange controls, this is a video game where people laugh more than scream. But all these factors are what make Deadly Premonition so good. The charismatic appeal of TV shows like Twin Peaks and X-Files uses similar dialogues with an FBI agent dealing with unorthodox cases who find themselves in a small, forgotten town. If you don't take the game seriously and you like interesting mystery television series, this is the only survival horror game for you. Alan Wake is a classic horror game played by most fans of the genre. You play as a novelist caught up in his own real-life horror story. A third-person horror game with psychological suspense and enhanced with a quality story. The sci-fi game Control, published in 2020, was also made by the people who made Alan Wake. Alan Wake and Control are set in the same universe but offer something completely different experientially. If you played Control, want more information, and are a horror fan, Alan Wake is for you. Remothered is a psychological thriller where you can't solve your problems. You are stuck in a spooky mansion with nothing but your mind. There are many different combat options, such as stealth, blunt force, or simply dodging. This is a 2018 game that leaves the year of classic survival horror at its peak. But that doesn't stop the developers from trying to recapture psychological tensions and puzzles in the best way possible. The early 2000s is where survival horror games were born, and at their best. Obscure I and Obscure 2 came out as a puzzle cooperative horror around this time. You control a group of teenagers in the early 2000s in a school bloodbath. Obscure offers a fun ride with a mix of horrors and old school feel. In both games, as a student, you can play co-op with other friends, and experience another Resident Evil Silent Hill type game with its own creative design. The Evil Within is a newer horror from its prime years, but one of the long-standing classics. The franchise was created by the same people who made Resident Evil, so you know the horror and the quality of the gameplay will be there. The story is about a detective trapped in a cruel and grotesque world. You'll find yourself in the boss fights of your nightmares, as the creative team works hard to make the monsters as brutal and cripple as possible. Dead Space implements third-person survival horror with space travel. You are not in a rundown town full of zombies, you are in space with monsters. As Isaac Clarke in the first game, you must fight as the last survivor on an infested ship. The pleasure in these games comes from the tactic of smashing your enemies to gain an advantage. Gore has never been this fun. Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 3 have unique co-op experiences and unforgettable combat. The Japanese have a special place in creative horror, whether in movies or video games. What they found was insane, and Fatal Frame is no different. This is an old PS2 game where you only defend in the dark, not a gun or a punch, it's a camera. You are walking around a skull slowly. The only way to fend off ghosts is to take a camera and shoot close-ups. You have to scare yourself or die trying. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the page.